Hello everyone, my name is Info Sirens, and I am just dropping the intros for the purpose of experimentation. Anyways, Star Wars. What can I say about it? It's Star Wars. Almost everyone knows about Star Wars. It's been ingrained into our human minds, it's pretty much a staple of pop culture. It's Star Wars. What can I say about it? I'm doing a video about Star Wars because my buddy, name redacted upon request, requested that I just review Star Wars as shown by this comment here that just probably appeared before I did, depending how editor me is feeling today. And he never really specified what of Star Wars to review, and I just thought to myself, you know what? I'm just going to review all of it. And by all of it, I mean the movies, of course. But I'm not going to review every movie individually. I am going to review every movie in the span of 1 minute. How this will work is that I will give myself 1 minute to go over each movie within the franchise. After I review that one movie, I will go on to the next movie and try and review that within the same time span I'm given. Now, the movies I'm going to be covering are theatrically released movies only. No TV specials like the holiday special. I'm not going to be talking about that. Just the movies that were released in theaters. Also, to make it slightly easier on myself, I'm going to give myself some extra time, which I'm going to call sympathy seconds. Meaning that if I end up going over the time limit, I'm still going to give myself some extra time just to get some thoughts out of the way or try and finish up a point and rate it overall. I'm going to be giving myself a total of 30. I'm not going to be giving myself 30 sympathy seconds for every movie I do. How it will work is if I end up spending 5 sympathy seconds on one movie, I'm going to have only 25 left. So I got to use them sparingly. Another thing I would like to note is that I'm going to be reviewing these in chronological story order, meaning I'm going to start from episode 1 all the way to episode 9. And one more last thing. This is just my opinion, okay? If you don't agree with it, then try and be civil about it. I know it's the internet, but it's just an opinion by some dude who likes to talk on the internet about things. Well, that being said, though, let's get a move on, starting with episode 1. Controversially, I actually kind of like The Phantom Menace. Am I saying it's a perfect film? No. Am I saying it's the best Star Wars film of all time? No. I just think it's a good movie despite all the hate it gets. Well, for starters, the visual effects are really good, and the action set pieces are great, especially the lightsaber battle and the space battles with like the new CGI and stuff. Is the CGI perfect by any means? Well, I think it's fine, but there's definitely some weird uncanny spots, especially some of the alien designs. Specifically that, shaking alien. But other than that, I think it's really good. The acting is fine. Most of the acting. Jake Lloyd, he did fine for what he had to work with. But there was one part where he's talking to C-3PO where I'm just like, dude, no, you gotta stop, man. But other than that, and another thing too is that Jar Jar was not that annoying to me. He only annoyed me like maybe twice out of every other time he appeared on screen. But other than that, it was fine. Phantom Menace is a good film. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. This is definitely the weakest in the prequel trilogy. Is it a bad film? Not really. Is it a good movie? Kinda, but it just barely gets there. I can definitely see why a lot of people don't like this, especially with much of the plot focusing on the romance between Anakin and Padme. And the whole delivery and dialogue is just so weird, especially, the I don't like sand thing. And while the visuals are still great, there was one that really bothered me where Anakin was like surfing on like a slime lizard rhinoceros or something. I thought that was very weird and uncanny. But what really saves this movie is, again, the visuals and the action set pieces and the Obi-Wan subplot that just ultimately builds the world of Star Wars and makes us just see more like the Jedi training, the clones on Kamino, and in Jango Fett, seen more fan service, but still, Attack of the Clones is a decent movie and is more or less just something to add on to the character building of Anakin Skywalker. It's still a decent movie. I give it a 2.5 out of 5. Okay, first of all, the Clone Wars TV show is absolutely amazing, and I highly suggest you all go watch it. That being said, though, this movie's not that good. It is basically a TV movie that happened to be released in theaters. Because I did see this in theaters as a kid. But that being said, though, it's not good. The animation is janky. The voice acting is just very, very, very so-so and amateur. And I mean, the special effects are good. Don't get me wrong, but there are times where the animation just feels so wooden, and janky, and like I said, the voice acting amateur. Story is all right, I guess, but like I said, the Clone Wars TV show is absolutely amazing, and the animation and the voice acting get better within the TV show because this was meant to be a TV show, and heck, this should have worked better as a TV movie, but it was released in theaters, and it's just not that good. I mean, I liked it as a kid, but nowadays, looking at an adult, it's not good. 2 out of 5. But that, like I said before, the Clone Wars TV show is absolutely amazing. Please watch it. And my timer just went off. I already rated the movie anyways. This is definitely my favorite Star Wars movie of all time. Do I think it's the greatest? Well, like I said, personally, it's my favorite. And what can I say about it? I like the dark tone of it, and I think the action set pieces are really cool as well. And I feel like the acting really, really kind of peaks in this one. Well, compared to the rest of the prequel trilogy, that is. The other movies did have some better acting, but if we're talking prequel trilogy, this one has the best acting in my opinion. And like I said, and I also really like the story because this is just the downfall of Anakin and the rise of Darth Vader. And I like how it connects all the last 2 films together and the TV show to an extent. And I don't really know what else to say about it. It is a little slow at times, as with, I guess, most Star Wars movies, but I just really like it. I really enjoy it. The dialogue, it's fine for the most part. It's definitely not the best dialogue I've heard, but compared to the prequels, it's actually really good, and I just really like Revenge of the Sith. I would talk more about it, but under time, I'm just going to give it a 5 out of 5. Shut up, timer. Remember, this is my opinion. It was alright. 2.5 out of 5. This movie's the best Disney Star Wars movie that has been made so far, because knowing Disney, they're probably going to be pumping out tons and tons of Star Wars movies, knowing how they like to treat their properties. But that being said, though, this is a really great movie. It definitely differentiates itself from being a traditional Star Wars movie, and it's a lot darker in tone. I'd say it's on par with Revenge of the Sith. And I really like the story. For a side story, it's pretty good, and I like the action as well. And as per usual for Star Wars movies, the special effects are great. The side characters are really cool, even though they eventually get Halo reached in the end, if you know what I mean. But I will say, though, some flaws of this movie include the 2 main leads being kind of forgettable. The beginning is a bit slow, and CGI Moff Tarkin, or I don't remember his name at the moment. It looked very uncanny, and I didn't really like that. Other than that, I think it's a good movie. I give it a 4 out of 5. So this is the movie that started everything. Even though it's not chronologically the beginning, this is the movie that started Star Wars and kind of put it on the map of where it is, along with the OT itself. And what can I say about it? It's basically A New Hope. Well, the story is really nothing new, and some of the effects, depending if you end up watching the oldest version, can be a bit dated at times. But if you watch the newer versions, they try to do some CG work on it, but it's still the same Star Wars nonetheless. And you know, it's basically A New Hope. It's the first Star Wars movie to be made, and it has its merits and it has its flaws. Such as, like I said, the not-so-special story where it's literally just the hero's journey, but it's still a good example of the hero's journey. And this movie is definitely a good example of a, good sci-fi action movie. And I don't really know much else to say about it because it's kind of hard to really pick apart the OT. I give this movie a 4.5 out of 5. So a lot of people consider this the best Star Wars movie of all time. I personally think it's a great movie. Best movie of all time? Well, personally, not really, but I can definitely understand the historical and cultural significance of it. In the OT, it's definitely the darkest because of the kind of downer ending where the heroes lose. But granted, though, no one really has like a major loss, well, except Han getting taken away in the end. And the twist at the end is definitely very well paced and well earned. And granted, though, the shock value might be lost upon most modern audiences because of how constantly referenced it is in other sources of media. But nonetheless, for the time this came out, it was really good. But seeing it nowadays, I don't think it's that special because I do think it was probably the slowest of the Star Wars movies, mostly because of Han and Leia's side plot when they're on the moon, that is. But the rest of the movie I thought was fine, and I really enjoyed other aspects such as Luke's training and the design of Dagobah and seeing Yoda after the Clone Wars. And, it's a fine movie. It's great. 4 out of 5. This is a good movie. If depending on what mood you catch me in, I might either say this is my favorite out of the entire original trilogy or A New Hope. This movie is definitely a lot lighter in tone. It feels more actiony, adventure-y, if that's even a word. But it's definitely a lot lighter in tone if you consider the ending where Luke sees the light in his father and has a heart-to-heart moment. And also it was a bit more comedic with the Ewoks, but they weren't really annoying. And I thought they were fine for what they were. But I really like this movie, just how it wraps up nicely overall and just gives a more positive outlook on how Luke handles the situation and conquers the dark side. I will say the only fault was I thought the sister reveal was just them trying to capture lightning in a bottle twice, if that's how the expression goes. I'm on time. And when it came out, I can definitely see a lot of people liking the Emperor, who came across as like dark and mysterious and has a lot more powerful essence to him. I think Return of the Jedi is actually really good, and I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. So this is a weird movie to talk about because here's the thing. It's fine. It's a good movie, but time did not do it well, in my opinion, because this movie was supposed to start a new trilogy. It was building up questions that would later be expanded upon, and along with ideas. The visuals were great, and I liked the actors they got for the new characters, and I thought they were introduced well for the most part. Rey had some stumbles, in my opinion. In the beginning, that is, but I could forgive it because it was a movie that was supposed to start a new trilogy, and I thought bringing back some of the characters was pretty cool to show that Star Wars had a legacy and that this is what made it great, and that's fine. Kylo had a cool introduction, and honestly, time just didn't do this movie well. But for what it is, it's fine. It's a decent action movie, I guess. I give it a 2.5 out of 5. Okay, so let me get the good out of the way first. The actors were good for what they had to work with, the visuals are great, and it actually has some good ideas, but the execution was very poor. Speaking of which, this movie sucks! I absolutely hate this movie. The story is terrible, the plot holes are so big that they trip on themselves, and the originals had plot holes too, but they didn't fall over themselves and ruin the whole experience. And the characters that were introduced became wasted, and they introduced unlikable characters such as Holdo and Rose. And mind you, the actors did fine for what they work with. And like I said, they wasted a lot of potential. And, grumpy old Luke could have worked, but it doesn't. And the movie just does not expand upon the ideas that were introduced in the last movie. I can understand if it wanted to be self-contained, but the last movie built up ideas and questions for the audience. And I just hate this movie. I hate it, and there's no point wasting time when there's other videos I already talked about how much this movie sucks. 0.5 out of 5. This movie sucks. So this movie is better than The Last Jedi, but granted, it's still not a good movie. It's not good. There are some good things in it, but they just don't do enough to redeem it. I like the character interaction between Finn and Poe. I thought they had some good chemistry. At least it actually had stuff going on that felt like it made sense for what it was, I guess. And I like the idea of, not being afraid of your past bloodline and not being afraid of who you are. But granted, it's still not a good movie, as what ultimately kills it is, for starters, bringing back Palpatine is absolutely dumb. And this movie ultimately wasted Kylo Ren as becoming the main villain of the sequel trilogy. And it also, just the ending where The very ending is just absolutely dumb and just like the final nail in the coffin showing that Star Wars is dead. I mean, if you watch it with friends, it's fine, and you can get a good time out of it. But if you're gonna watch it alone, don't. It's not good. It sucks. 1 out of 5. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was every Star Wars movie reviewed in 1 minute or less. With the exception of some overtime I gave myself, and as much as I'd really love to go into more details of my thoughts on these movies, I was on time, and maybe if I ever decide to talk about Star Wars again, I might give a more detailed explanation of what I thought of each movie. But granted, I don't want to turn my channel into a Star Wars channel. I like it casually for what it is, and this was just a video I thought I'd doing for fun. And I will, if you want to recap what I thought of each movie, here's all the scores I gave them right now. And that's basically the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, feel free to dislike it. Comment down below what you thought of this video or what you thought of each movie, or want to leave a meme down below. I mean, it's the comment section. Anything goes at this point. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content that I make. I mostly do anime reviews, and lately I've been trying to branch out to other media, such as maybe doing movie reviews or talk about whatever I feel like. Follow me on Twitter at Anthem of Sirens, where I just talk about whatever. And that's about it. See you guys in the next video, and because this is a Star Wars video, may the Force be with you. I know it kind of sounds cliche, but I had to take that opportunity. Goodbye, everybody.